The stream gets to everybody. Oh, oh man. Oh. Now, word of advice, you can always speed up. No, you can't speed up a stream. Sorry about that. When the stream is done, you can speed up the stream to 2x or 1.5x so you can get through the stream faster. I'm going to just get right into it, but first, all praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first, and let's get into it. Gun Gooners right now, Zack Snyder! Oh, man. Listen. Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for the pushback. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. You know? Chris Terrier knew how to play with words. Yes, the Almighty comes clean about how dirty he is when it counts. Yeah. Oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait. This movie has more screaming than story. People wanted a Superman movie, not a concert of emotional breakdown. Superman. That was our key. Rafael Sai says, holy shit, I never seen damage control like this in my life. They had theme music with Indian classical instruments. Supposedly to offset James Gunn's comments about the 12-year-old Indian boy. Ay, ay, ay. Seems as though James Gunn is personally on Twitter as like Casey Bloys, and he's responding to people. There's so many burner accounts on this thing, it's not funny, and I'm going to show you something about this in a minute. 1692 America from the top rope. You imagine joining Mossad and getting told your assignment is shacking up with a bug-eyed Indian. Almost makes you feel bad for her. Very racist again. So James Gunn and these Zionists have something in common. Scottish Superman, the guy who actually started the theme, released the Snyder Cut, comes and says, hashtag restore the SnyderVerse, restore the SnyderVerse, restore the SnyderVerse. Green Casey says, these gunts are harassing critics who gave Superman a negative review. It's such weirdo behavior, for real. Phyllis says, this shot always gets me. The lighting, the red cape, the symbol, the muscles standing out. Simply perfect. That's cool. Jedi Jones says, Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian gives Superman 2 out of 5 stars. He says Dave Cornsweat plays the part with dullness and soullessness, and the movie's cluttered and pointless and uninteresting. I think they tried to use AI also to tell the story, which is why it looks the way it does. And the story is the way it is. I would be surprised. They tried to use formulas to get what would supposedly attract everybody, but it's going to backfire so royally once again. I don't think the Superman movie is any different to Aquaman 2, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Shazam 2, The Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman 84. I don't think it seems to be the same quality of movie, the same approach. Justice League 2017, the same thing again. Very questionable CGI, just all around popping colors all the time. And I don't know why this studio is adamant. They're just constantly doubling down on this. I don't know why, because it's not giving them any returns. The only returns they ever got was from Aquaman and Shazam. And there was freak returns for Aquaman. It worked for Aquaman, and obviously it didn't carry over to Shazam because at the time, SnyderVerse people were, giving their support to Jason Momoa, who was supporting the Snyder Cut release. Okay? And that's why the movie did so well. It probably would have been a movie that did like 500 million, with China, because, China and all the rest of the world liked the movie and supported it. I didn't see it being a $1 billion movie. It became a $1 billion movie because of that. Now, once you have everybody on board, you're going to get a $1 billion movie. That's a given. The problem is the divisive tactics that both the studio and James Gunn have used, and just like brain dead decisions. Instead of trying to move the DCEU into his DCU or whatever the fuck he wants to call it, this dude said, we're closing down the DCEU. Then he's such a narcissist, he keeps his characters going. And then on top of that, he fires Henry Cavill. He removes Ben Affleck, fires Gal Gadot. And then on top of that, like, the dude can't get a hint. He can't do good DC stories. It's proven now, he can't do a good DC story. All right. And then with the mandates that the studio wants, because, Gunn is the guy that they want to get this Marvel-like thing that's under 2 hours, whatever. It's a clusterfuck, and everybody knows this. The movie that's about to come out is a clusterfuck. So, good luck, buddy. Good luck.
At the end of So the Flash comes around. At the end of Man of Steel, Superman breaks my neck and kills me. Which was the cause of much consternation among some fans because Superman's not supposed to kill people. So then I get this call. I'm like, they saw Man of Steel, right? My manager's like, yeah, but it's different. I'm like, what is it? It's a multiverse. I don't know what that means. I was very upset by what happened to Zach on the Justice League and all that. It didn't feel right to me. I would really feel awkward about doing it without Zach's blessing. So I reached out to Zach, and he gave me his blessing and said, it's okay. It was a very different thing because, like, Man of Steel was like a year of my life. The shoot was like 6 months long or something. And I was in and out of Flash in like a flash, 2 or 3 weeks. That's it. Yeah.
The thing with the studio is they're trying to cut costs by using technology. And shit still looks like shit. Martin Savage says Superman is a God-fearing man who loves one woman. Yes, Christian values. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes, sir. Man, the more I see Zack Snyder's Justice League, the more I see Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, even Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is a Zionist, disgusting Zionist pig. Even so, okay, but she doesn't care about the Palestinians, and she's trying to defend a terrorist organization in the IDF. And I hope never to see her as Wonder Woman on the screen ever again. They're going to have to replace her. But having said all of that, Wonder Woman was a great movie. Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition is a fantastic piece of work. I don't think we'll get anything like that anymore. Man of Steel was an introduction. And people don't understand how difficult Superman is to pull off. They just don't understand that. So it is what it is, but still, You
can save a cow. You can save all of them.
Yeah. Zack Snyder, ladies and gentlemen. In 48 hours, the next trending event will begin. 11 July, 9 a.m. ET, 2 p.m. GMT, which is Greenwich Mean Time. So 2 p.m. British time, 9 a.m. EDT. I don't know what EDT means. Eastern Probably Eastern. I don't know what that means. If you want to see European, probably, I don't know. If you want to see the rest of Zack Snyder's Justice League saga, please join and get your post ready. I have some killer threads ready for the day. Restore the Snyderverse, every cap of Superman. Well, I'm going to post Restore the Snyderverse regardless. That's just me. Um, they try to do an event while Superman is going on in cinemas. I really don't care to do that. I don't want it to seem like we're this group that is resisting that. I think what we want to do is tell people what we want. All right. And you notice I haven't focused much on James Gunn's movie. Aaron Fisher says, "This is what I miss: the chills, the excitement. I remember the somber well, waiting in line at Walmart to get early tickets. I remember the crowds getting excited and cheering and clapping. This was real." Henry Cavill Superman, Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, and he has he has the trailer for it. So that's what. After decades of calling Henry Cavill Superman Homelander because he experienced doubt and grief, things Homelander doesn't, and comic book Superman does, we find out that Gunn ripped off the boys for his Superman Ultraman. Bro legitimately made his Superman into Homelander. That's true. The clone of Superman was Ultraman, which is Homelander. Which is literally, ladies and gentlemen, the things that they accused Zack Snyder of, James Gunn decided, I'm going to do all those things. He realized and he did it. And these fucking fans, now look like hypocrites. They said Superman doesn't kill, and yet Superman kills his clone. He kills his clone. And I always thought they were going to set up Superman with the clone, like Lex Luthor was going to set up Superman with Ultraman. Have Ultraman do some terrible things and set up Superman. Apparently, that's not what he did. So, Tony says, "Told you the same story, different versions. For your Commanders, Peacemaker, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. Superman is basically Guardians of the Galaxy Superman edition. That's basically what it is, and we all know that. And this is what we expected, and the worst that we expected happened. Henry Cavill rarely showed audiences a nuanced and human Superman performance. It can't even be compared to whatever they're doing now. Whatever they're doing now sucks ass. It just sucks ass. It's probably the worst DC film in a long time. It's probably worse than Wonder Woman 84, or definitely has to be worse than Wonder Woman. So, and Wonder Woman 84 was bad. Okay, the Suicide Squad was, at least, with the Suicide Squad, you could say, okay, so here is, villains being used to do good, so they're expendable. Okay, so James Gunn could, at least say, oh, well, they're villains. But in this movie, Superman's not a villain, he's a hero. And, oh my God, it's awful. It's just awful. Okay? I'm seeing the movie. I don't need to see the movie. I know what the movie looks like. I know what the movie's about. I don't need to see it. Okay? I saw the spoilers for the movie. And, shall I say, somebody spoiled the movie. And the movie is awful. Okay? It's awful. Again, maybe they've used AI to do their storytelling. Assisted by AI. But it is a awful story. And, a lot of people are saying how, David Cornsweat, he's behaving like Superman. Let me just say this. If Superman for you is someone in tights, popping colors world, somebody who, even if they're saying something that's gravitas, there's going to be a joke, a punchline at the end, whether it's the person who's actually doing it or not. If that's your Superman, well, that ain't Superman for me. And, I don't want to go into a popcorn flick, not only offended, but leaving the popcorn flick saying, what did I learn from this? And having nothing to gather from it. Not one damn thing. And James Gunn tried to do social commentary. He tried to do a bunch of stuff. He's not the guy to do Superman, ladies and gentlemen. And David Cornsweat, He ain't Superman. I don't care what y'all say. Oh, he's in the Silver Age version of Superman. No, he's not. Go read Silver Age Superman. He's not. You know. He's not a buffoon. He's not a guy that Crypto would take and drag his legs around and make him or say some stupid comment. You know. That's not Superman. I'm sorry. Until Zack Snyder does better, it's the best Superman. Restore the SnyderVerse. The true Man of Steel. Will Rollins says, but sadly what we have here is very little Guardians magic. None of the verve or anarchy, only the silliness. It's slight, nonsensical, and only sporadically funny. So it's a Superman review. I'm not going to go watch that movie. I don't care if they give me to watch it for free. There are certain movies I just don't want to see. I never finished watching Aquaman. I never finished watching Birds of Prey. Shazam. I had to go watch Wonder Woman 84 in the cinema. I laughed from beginning to end because it was just so bad. Never watched The Suicide Squad in completeness. Never watched Shazam 2. Never watched The Flash in its completeness. Never watched Blue Beetle. Never watched Aquaman 2 in its completeness. You know why? Because I know these movies are fucking trash, ladies and gentlemen. Why would I go watch trash? You pitched to me that this movie's going to be trash. That's what your trailers did. Why would I go watch something I don't want to see? Right? And this movie, in addition, is trash. There's no boycott. I don't need to boycott anything. This is just not my style of movie. It's not made for me. Why would I go watch something that's not made for me? To what? Tick myself off? Life's too short for that. So, yeah. Make your voice heard on July 11th. Restore the SnyderVerse, Henry Cavill Superman. If you guys want to do that, you can do it. I'll be always posting up my Restore the SnyderVerse regardless. It doesn't really matter. This lady says she's like Chinese or something. I'm battling a serious lung disease. What supports me through this painful journey is Henry Cavill Superman. I'm going to see the new Superman movie. I'm looking forward to it. But for me, Henry Cavill Superman will always be the one and only Superman. There's the person putting up the sign of Henry Cavill Superman.
What's the estimate?
Cleansing the timeline. Henry Cavill Superman. Man, I dig it, man.
Hey, IGN fans, here's an exclusive look.
Aaron wasn't kidding. This is Madam Web level bad.
Target in sight.
He's back.
It's a clip from the movie. Oh my God, that looked terrible.
12C. 18A. 34B.
He's so fucking retarded. Why do you need all those people to maneuver that thing?
8H. 74D. 4014.
Oh my God.
Hey, IGN fans, here's an exclusive look.
So here is Henry Cavill. This is from Zack Snyder's Justice League in black and white. Just looks great. Sad news, James Earl Jones, he died recently. Oh my God. This is what we got over Man of Steel 2. This is what we got over Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. This is what we got over Ben Affleck's solo Batman film. James Gunn has ruined the DC brand. You can rape them, Cal. You can rape all of them. Well, Jor-El, his father, was talking about enslaving mankind and breeding them. So that's what Jor-El says inside of the movie. Now, I don't know if that's really what he said or if that's something that Lex Luthor manipulated. Best Batman cowl of all time. I agree. It's like the classic Batman cowl, too. Jor-El sent Superman to enslave humanity, kill all descent, and spread his seed with his harem. That's quoted from the movie. which is again something James Gunn would say, and something that Hollywood's all about. By the way, James Gunn is Zack Snyder fanboy who wrote the Superman plotline with ChatGPT. That's right. I remember you guys saying that about the plot leak. Remember when you guys were screaming about Man of Steel's destruction, man? Yeah, comic book actors, fuck the real DC fans. They can be a great people, Kal-El. They wish to be. They will only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, I have sent them you, my son. You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. Literally, this is from All-Star Superman. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun, Kal. Sleep with all the women and enslave the entire race of twats. That's James Gunn's Jor-El.
I'm like, okay, you start off showing Superman with his butt beat. Okay, here's the thing. Y'all remember how I was talking about the dog scene? Because y'all don't. This, honestly, it feels like James Gunn, just shoot me, bro. Just shoot me. Take a knife and pierce my freaking soul. All right? Just do that. But please stay away from Superman.
Oh, by the way, The Accountant 2 makes nearly 80 million, pulls in nearly 80 million Prime video viewers. Amazon MGM Studios' second most watched pick of all time. So that's pretty dope. Forbes said that James Gunn's reboot is painfully mediocre, super generic.
My metabolism, right?
James Gunn pretty much confirmed he wrote this Flash reshoot scene as Supergirl and Superman cameo is pretty much Aquaman's in the Flash. Both jump and fall around. Lazy, uninspired, not my DC. And the thing about it is Supergirl, to pick up the dog, she comes in drunk, just like Aquaman. So you can see James Gunn's insignia on all of the past DCEU films, which is why this DCU or whatever it's called is dead, man. This shit is dead in the water. This shit ain't gonna make no money. And I'm saying this now so people will know that I said it long before. I just like how I saw the Flash movie and it bottomed out and it crashed. This fucking movie ain't doing shit. Okay, I know it already. Right? We all know it, and already you see these gunts. I'm saying, even if James Gunn's movie doesn't do well, the SnyderVerse won't be restored. And I'm like, motherfucker, you ain't got no grounds to stand on. Because here's the thing, James Gunn ain't the only guy that movie flopped. Under Walter Hamada, almost all the DC movies that he produced under him flopped. The only thing that didn't flop was Joker, and that was not his project. Aquaman wasn't his project either, right? And I think the Batman was not his project as well. So, yeah, he made a green light, the Batman or Joker, but he ain't done shit. His only movie that succeeded was Shazam, right? When you look at Jeff Johns and John Berg, under them, they were responsible for Justice League 2017, fucking flop. They got Aquaman to work, but Justice League 2017 flopped. When you look at Zack Snyder's run, every single movie made money. Okay? From Wonder Woman to Man of Steel, it made money. They actually made profit. This is important. Warner Bros. Hasn't had a movie that made profit in terms of DC in a long while. Okay? Since 2022, they have not had a profitable DC movie. So, and that's DC period. We're not talking about universe or anything like that, right? Because the people who lead this fucking studio have no vision, have no direction, have no passion for film. Okay? They're just fucking idiots. Okay? So, and we've known this for a long time. So when I keep on talking about Superman, I already know Superman ain't making $50 million in its debut on American soil. That is not happening. Right? That movie's going to flop so hard, it's not going to be funny. Because it's the worst DC film of all the DC films we've had so far. Bearing in mind all the information that this fucking studio got on all of these films. Right? After all of that, these motherfuckers are going to produce the same shit. You're going to come back and do the same shit that caused you stuff. You say you redo the universe, and you come back to the same shit. Man, you deserve to be punched in the face for your stupidity. And you expect the audience to come see that shit because it's Superman? Fuck out of here. You gotta be stupid. Casey says, I'm quite enjoying the we complained about Zack Snyder, but wow, this is way worse reviews so far. Even the haters are realizing how good we used to have it. Aki says this movie cinematography looks like it was shot on a Ring doorbell during a cloudy afternoon. Zero style, zero flair, just vibes, and vibes were dead. Super meh, flat and forget. And Leonidas, he's laughing about that. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. So true. So basically what I'm saying is, this is when you can safely skip from Forbes. Let me just say this. I'm going to say it loud and clear for everybody to understand. DC is shit. The MCU had one glimmer of hope with Deadpool and the Wolverine. I heard lots of people saying, oh, well, they have new actors and stuff. So now, you know, they ain't going to bring back Zack. I'm like, oh, shit. The DCU had a whole bunch of actors. There was a Supergirl in the DC that's been replaced by this drunken Supergirl. There was do we need to really go Black Adam? Dude, if something ain't working, they scrapping this shit. And they're going to scrap the DCEU. Supergirl's not going to make it to the finish line. We're not going to get no Supergirl. Not the way how James Gunn's doing Supergirl. Fuck out of here. It's total disrespect of the character. Right? Total disrespect of Superman. This Superman movie is disrespect to Superman. Right? You constantly try to do parodies of main characters because you're not capable of doing depth in those characters and meaning. Right? This is like Justice League 2017. It's the same shit. The same formula. And it's going to fucking flop. And I'm going to enjoy watching the flop happen. Because stupid assholes who run studios like assholes deserve asshole treatment. I want you guys to see this. This is really cool. It's not Trump who saved Texans. It's the Mexicans who are arrested every day. Listen to this.
Texas, the governor, breaking news, Trump said there was nothing he could do. But it was Mexico who stepped up to save lives. While the floodwaters swept away homes, families, and hope in South Texas, the governor appeared on television, his voice shaking, saying his hands were tied, that he had no resources, no way to help. But someone did. From across the river, without cameras, without promises, hundreds of Mexican rescuers crossed over on their own. They came with backpacks on their shoulders, trained dogs by their side, and hearts full of faith. They didn't wait for orders. They didn't ask for permission. They just heard the cry of a neighbor, and they answered. And now, in the mud and rubble of cities like Laredo, Eagle Pass, and Mission, the loudest voices aren't speaking English. They're speaking Spanish. Mexican voices saying, hold on, we're here. Because while Trump locks himself in his office and the governor throws his hands up to the sky, Mexico is waist deep in the water, pulling people out alive. Today, Texas faces its worst climate disaster in years. The first to react was not Trump, but the people arrested in the United States. So ask yourself, if you believe Trump's immigration policies are wrong, drop a thank you Mexico in the comments. And share this story before politics buries it.
Yep. Show you another one. Viva Mexico. Mexico's president just sent rescue teams to Texas after all the hate and after all the anti-immigration policies, after all the racism towards brown people. She still helped. She still showed up. She did the right thing. To a red state that wouldn't do the same for her, that's leadership, that's power, that's a woman. And let me say something else. The demonization of people who have caused your economy to do well and benefit is such a fuck-ass, backwards, stupid way to go. You know? Why is it that demonic assholes constantly go against the will of the people? All right? You put in people's minds that other people are their enemies because they come from somewhere else. When obviously these people come to better their lives, yes, but also to give back to society. And yes, they take money and carry it to Mexico, and that's okay because they may not pay taxes, but they pay taxes through purchasing. Once somebody's purchasing your products, remember they come in your country and they start purchasing your products. Where are they purchasing? Where they get the money from? You remember they're trading their work, labor, for money. So it's not like you're losing because you're getting their labor, dumbass. That's currency too. And the sooner Americans realize that immigrants are not the enemy is their government, the faster they can come together and actually have real results, real things, nation building. The United States of America was built off the backs of immigrants. Immigrants. Okay? Human rights defenders should be honored, not punished. She was the voice for the voiceless, fighting injustice and oppression. Yet, instead of honoring her, they punish and silence her. We stand in strong solidarity with UN Rapporteur Francis Albanese after the U.S. punished her for exposing Israeli and American war crimes in Gaza. And remember, she's a lawyer, so she's not backing down. Yeah, all right. She obviously either has some protection or something because I'm sure they're trying to kill her. Now, I will say this about this lady. She has been unapologetic. She has been very honest about what is going on in Palestine and Gaza, and it's going on right now as we speak. And I'm going to say this. Thank God for her, because she's telling the truth, along with all the other people who have done all that homework and research. And she is one of the forces that is coming for these corporations and for the Western governments who have assisted and aided in what is happening in the world today, the genocide that's happening in Palestine. Leonardo says, these movies didn't need fake love from critics, influencers, or shills. They stood the test of time because they connected with the hearts and minds of millions around the world. It has been 12 years and they're still talking about Zack's DC. Restore the SnyderVerse. The greatest joke is that some Man of Steel haters like Jeremy here, Jeremy Prime actually said Man of Steel is better. He's turning around now. He's singing a different tune. We'll be stuck with James Gunn Superman for the coming years. He's going to ruin your Superman mythos even more than Snyder, baby. Donald Trump wants to bring America back to the pre-1960s. That's Gavin Newsom, who's a politician. Jensen 17 says, Man of Steel, you will give the people of Earth an idea to strive towards. They will race behind you. They'll stumble. They'll fall. But in time, they'll join you in the sun. Cal. In time, they will help you. You will help them accomplish wonders. Superman 2025. Conquer the Earth. Impregnate every woman. Super shit. No doubt, man. It literally is super shit. No doubt about that. Darren Mooney says, unfortunately, Superman is Gunn's worst theatrical release film, and to be honest, maybe his worst directorial effort at all by a considerable margin. The mess of a movie that seems like it's been taken apart and stitched back together, so often it's lost its own head. Yep, I think they had him edited over and over and over and over again to shorten it down and several other things. Sinking says, sorry, y'all, this is a good movie. Man of Steel is better. That was Jeremy Prime. We're not paid to leave good reviews. Yeah, no shit. This is what we meant. Got invited to Superman screening, basically told I need to write a good review if I want further opportunities. Hi, Taylor G. I hope this finds you well. You are a guest and invited to the screening of Warner Brothers Superman presented in Real D 3D. Tuesday, July 8, 7 p.m., AMC Burbank 16, 125 Palm Avenue, Burbank, California, 7 p.m. screening. Please reserve VP or RSVP by replying directly to this email, providing your full name, and if you will be bringing a guest no later than noon on Monday, June 17. Please be prepared to present photo ID at check-in. Photo ID must match the name in the check-in list. This invitation is non-transferable. Please note that this is not a ticket. Social posts are not required but greatly appreciated if they help us to prioritize you for future opportunities and events. If you choose to post about the picture or the event, please keep it spoiler-free, and you must disclose what you received from Warner Brothers in a clear and conspicuous manner. It can be done in text or audio, such as "Thank you, Read 3D, for inviting me to the screening event of Superman. All opinions are my own. You can also tag and mention the following." Okay, so basically they're saying, if they can use your post for, they would like to work further with you if you give a glowing review, obviously. In James Gunn's new movie, Clark is sent to Earth by evil Jor-El to impregnate every woman and conquer the planet. He's not Superman. He's basically Goku. So yeah, I think I said enough about Zack Snyder's Justice League here. There's something else I was supposed to do. I was trying to figure it out, but yeah, some of the reviews are just really, they realize it's like, this is shit, And Jeremy Johns, he also said pretty much the same thing. Hey, listen, man, I need to have a drink to watch that movie. Woo! Yeah, shit fucks down the street says Snarky J delivered a very honest review. So apparently a lot of rumors are true, including super shit. This movie is also a jumbled mess at the level of Superman 4 and Justice League. A lot of cringe in the movie going on as well. Fire James Gunn. And again, for those of you who don't know, Snarky J hates Zack Snyder's Superman. She literally hates Zack Snyder's Superman. She does not like Zack Snyder's movies. And she thought it was a load of shit. She called it Superman. Who needs kryptonite when reviews are this bad? Woke Superman reboot is savage and brutal. Early reviewers. Critics brand new movie a convoluted mess. So yeah, it's shit. And it's so much of it. Okay, so let me go into one more thing. Ooh, I'm at 30-something minutes. I didn't even know that. Okay. That was the Restore the SnyderVerse part. Is Restore the SnyderVerse going to happen? Absolutely. It's absolutely going to happen. It's inevitable. And if Warner Brothers continues to produce this level of shit, I am going to be so confident to say they're not going to be in business much longer. I'll give them a year and then they're done. They're toast. Okay? Because the PR campaign for this movie was terrible. Just everything about it was terrible. And it shows that Warner Bros. Doesn't have money. They lack money to put these movies out. And so I suggested them they sell their company off, or I know they're gearing up to get the company sold, but I think they want to get it sold to Disney. And if that's what they want to do, I'm telling you right now, any content that looks anything like this movie at all, it's not going to get eyes on it. It's just not going to. It's just not going to. So unless Marvel fans are interested in this version of DC and support it over the next coming weeks, this movie is dead, because DC fans are not going to support this movie. And they keep on saying DC fans who read the comics and blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What Gunn is doing ain't comic book correct. Superman don't yell at people. Okay? He don't yell at people. All right? Secondly, the immaturity of Superman. Y'all trying to compare this guy to Christopher Reeve's Superman. Christopher Reeve's Superman don't do that shit. He don't. Premature babies are struggling to live in Gaza. Jesus. All right, let's go to what really counts here. I'm going to talk about Gaza quite a lot. These people lie so much. Now, check this out. This is now Frey Israeli one is a Jewish guy that lives in Israel. He lives in Israel. And here he is breaking down the lies.
את יום הזיכרון 2025 אני מבקש להקדיש לזכר 8 תינוקות שנשרפו באכזריות ב7 לאוקטובר בקיבוץ בארי. רגע, רציתי להביא את התמונות של התינוקות. איך קוראים להם? האם זה בכלל קרה? בואו נקשיב למה שסיפרו קציני צה"ל בכירים על מה שהתרחש בבית של פסי כהן.
We found 8 babies burned in this corner, among another people burned in the house. Yeah, I saw that baby. beheaded.
זהו גולן זבח, אלוף משנה, מתנחל מקריית ארבע ובוגר מכינת בני אלי. עכשיו תקשיבו לברק חירם בריאיון לאילנה דיין.
שם מצאנו 8 ילדים כפותים ביחד ואירועים, זוג של בעל ואישה כפותים ביחד ואירועים.
חירם, גם מתנחל, הוא מפקד אוגדת עזה. שניהם יחד משווקים לכל העולם בדמעות את התינוקות שהם ראו במו עיניהם, כפותים, הרוגים, שרופים. אבל רגע, יש בעיה. מתוך 15 בני ערובה בבית של פסי כהן, לא היה אף תינוק. הקטנים ביותר, בעצם הנערים היחידים, היו ליאל וינאי, תאומים בני 12 וחצי. למעשה, בכל הקיבוץ לא נהרס ולא נשרף אף תינוק. התינוקת היחידה שכן נהרגה בקיבוץ היא מילה כהן, זיכרונה לברכה. בבית אחר מירי שחדר את הדלת שבה המשפחה התחבאה. אז למה שני קצינים בכירים ממציאים סיפורים שלא היו ולא נבראו? אולי כדי שלא נדבר על מה שבאמת כן היה שם? תקשיבו ליסמין פורט, ניצולה מתוך הבית.
קודם כל אמרתי להם, בבקשה, תהרגו אותי, אני אמא ל3 ילדים, תשאירו אותי בחיים. הוא הסתכל עליי ככה בעיניים, הם דרך אגב היו מאוד אנושיים כלפינו. הוא אמר לי, תסתכלי עליי טוב, אנחנו לא נהרוג אתכם, אנחנו רוצים לקחת אתכם לעזה, אנחנו לא הולכים להרוג אתכם. היה שם ירי מטורף על הבית, מטורף. טנק הגיע וירה בפגזים. אז היה. אם זה קרה, זה היה, אם הם מתו כל הבני ערובה, זה רק מהירי.
יום הזיכרון 2000.
So basically he's saying the witness said a tank came and blew up the whole place, shut up the whole place. And she said if anybody died there as hostages, it was from the tank. In other words, the IDF killed its own people who were being held hostage by the Hamas fighters. So this is tremendous. In fact, this same Cullen Golan Vak, He talks about how the tank blew up the whole house and nobody survived. He actually does it later on in the interview. Anyways, Steven says DC's back with middling action sequences and MCU leftovers. All right, listen to this one, y'all. This is crazy.
And I live nearby MacArthur Park, and I heard I first felt the vibration, and then I heard this deep rumbling, and that was a heavy military helicopter circling Koreatown, Little Bangladesh, MacArthur Park area. This is a mostly immigrant working class community. So it was clearly evidently from just my first arrival in the park that this is a highly orchestrated distraction, a display. There was no real investigation or arrest or operations. When I arrived, the National Guard, the National Guardsmen and officers looked kind of dejected and unclear of like what they were really doing there. And the CBP officers, the federal enforcement officers, were already agitated. They were coming in with this vicious energy against the community. At one point, one officer had to be pulled back by their vest, and this person was carrying a machine gun. And I'm like, if this person with a gun, federally trained officer with a gun, is already coming into the community agitated, I can't imagine the horrors that are going to be coming forward if this continues, right? This park is a community park, a hub of vendors. There were children in the park right before this enforcement happened. So really, it was just bizarre to see, as just being in my community that is what should be a normal day, buzzing with people, was a desolate park filled with military officers. And similarly how it has been described, it felt like an occupation of L.A. And this isn't just about immigrants. The heat map that Chirla has put out of immigration enforcement within June has shown that the highest concentration of enforcement has been in Black and brown communities. So this is destabilizing not only immigrant communities, this is destabilizing Black communities, this is destabilizing our city's economy. And now with this purported idea of safety, now we are really less secure, because the only gang roaming around LA kidnapping people is the federal agents. So yeah.
Supports fascism. And the law doesn't, but when people are supposed to enforce the law are enforcing fascism, this is where we come in. That's why you cannot stand idly by and do nothing and allow this to happen. You know? You gotta wake the fuck up, man. Okay. I got lots and lots and lots more to say, but I'm going to wrap it up right here because I have to go. But this stream is brought to you by L.I.V.E products. L.I.V.E, live now. We're live now. And you guys have a great day. The issues that we have in front of us are still a free Palestine. Y'all don't be quiet. Keep on taking action. They're trying to make illegal people who are pushing back against the criminality of their illegal actions, whether it's governments or otherwise. They made a Palestinian Action terrorist organization. Fuck them, as far as I'm concerned. Continue doing what you do. If they arrest you, in time justice will be prevail, because you have to go to the courts, etc. You know, they're making these really strawman laws which have no morality and no bearing. They have no basis in facts and truth. So they're making bad laws. And when they make bad laws, this is where you have the constitutional right to civilly disobey these laws. Not only must you disobey these laws, they're trying to create a narrative. You need to handle the narrative. It's time the people take back the power that's in front of them. Use the media, the social media outlets. Use all the facilities to your available. You can defend by any means necessary, which includes violent means. You have an array of different options and strategies that you can implement in front of you and implement them, from carrying these people to court to frustrating and antagonizing the shipment of goods, employing strike strategies, employing local and global strike strategies, meaning everybody decides we're not giving you another fucking cent. Neither you, the IRS, whoever. You're gonna have to arrest all of us, which would be like 150 million people. You know what I mean? You have to use your share numbers now, your share volume to overwhelm these motherfuckers and chase them out the country. You need them out the country. You need them in prison. So that's what's up. Dr. Allen says the number of proven rapes on October 7th is 0. What has been proven, however, is the systematic sexual violence against Palestinian men, women, and children, including rape and sodomy to the point of literal death committed by the IDF. Your atrocity propaganda has failed. BBC and the Zionist connection and why the corrupt genocide enabling bastards need defunding. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Guys, almost 4 hours. I see you guys watching this feed. You guys be encouraged. What has happened with Zack Snyder's Superman and with the series of films he did is actually happening in the real world today. And that is what's making this movie so immortal. That's what's making Zack Snyder's movies so well talked about. The people who are going against it, they know that they're talking a load of shit. I know they have IQs that are much higher than they're presenting themselves to have. And I just want to show you guys a couple things. So let me just show you this. It has to do with Zack Snyder stuff again. Oh, hold on 1 second. So, no, this is not. Hold on, let me get to my post. I have my post somewhere around here. Here it is. So I posted this very popular post, Restore the SnyderVerse. It has 494 likes. It's going on 500 very soon. And I wanted to show you how myopically stupid these people are. Stars, we were having a conversation, so I'm not going to really, go into stars like that. I'm not going to go into Michael Kagwa either because, again, we're having a conversation. I'm trying to find them, but I'm not seeing them all of a sudden. For some reason, I'm not seeing them. But a number of people said, you need to move on. If you see how many guns were underneath this thing, because it's so popular, and I'm like, why are guns appearing under a Restore the SnyderVerse post that has nothing to do with James Gunn's movie, nothing to do with anything to do with James Gunn? It's just a desire to see the SnyderVerse restored. And these people just relentlessly, you see them one after the other, some with fake accounts, etc. You can see them responding in fear. They're afraid that the SnyderVerse will be restored. You hear them, it'll never be restored. And I'm like, okay. And the SnyderVerse is there. I'm like, why are you focused on Restore the Snyder? Shouldn't you be focused on the movie you're supposed to watch, like James Gunn's movie? The Superman movie? Shouldn't you be pouring all your energy into that, making sure a lot of people come to see that movie? They don't lift a finger to do anything. They're not passionate about anything. The only thing they're passionate about is negative. It's Zack Snyder must return to DC. This is all these people are about. And it's so funny to me to see them responding under my post. I have a post that's 700 and something likes. It's on that post. I'm trying to find it. Let me see if I can find it. It's a tremendous post. And see if I can find it somewhere. See, these are all fake accounts. See, these are getting a lot of. Okay, never mind. But okay. So there's a conversation I'm having with this guy. Look, this is literally this guy is 28B36. I mean, this is not even trying to be like a real account. No, that's a button. It's a fucking fake account. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna do the conversation with Stas, who's much more, but there's a lot of them saying move on, and I like Zack Snyder's films, but move on. It was so funny to see them saying that. Stas says, I get the Snyderverse appeal in general, but I just don't understand the need to see Superman as some evil, grieving guy instead of the beacon of hope. So when I heard this guy say this tone deaf, I mean, obviously this guy works for the studio. He can't believe what he's saying. But anyway, I responded, that's because you're not interested in the hero's journey of Superman. Zach was giving us the why of Superman and his evolution. You wanted superficial shit. What is very retarded about you fans is Reeve also had the evolution of Superman where he was evil due to black kryptonite. Yet you never talk about that. In almost every media of Superman, whether comic books, animated series, animated movies, live action, we have seen him turn evil. Whether under Darkseid's influence, Joker killing his wife and child, black kryptonite. Okay? So Stas replies to me, there's a huge difference. It's fine if we get an evil Superman eventually. But the problem is that all the iterations you brought up had cat in tree moments to establish the beacon of hope aspect of the character. Cavill was snapping necks, fighting Batman, and dying, and barely being in the movie in his 3 major appearances. Everything's fine, but we didn't get the most basic stuff from him. All the harsher events worked better in contrast. My problem with Snyder's vision isn't with what he wanted to show in the movies, it's what was missing. Actually, no. The cat in the tree. But then again, you don't read comics nor probably follow DC material. Snyder's Superman evolved, unlike the cat in the tree Superman types you speak of, which, by the way, Snyder's Superman was a cat in the tree type. This is why Batman threw that at him. Puff piece editorials about a guy saving cats out of trees. Yeah. Okay, so we know Superman did that. Okay, that was a given. You look at Henry Cavill's behavior, you look at his demeanor in these movies, and clearly Superman's that stand-up guy who's good. We know Superman's good. Now, the way how you speak is you don't see Superman as good because he didn't save a cat in the tree. You guys like to use that cat in the tree shit. But we knew Superman was good from the moment he appeared. I'll go into it. As to your superficial, highly erroneous take on his Superman, I can't help you there. In Man of Steel, we see the formation of Superman. So he's not Superman in Man of Steel until the end of the movie. What is awesome is seeing Clark using his powers to save people from his very introduction. So before he was Superman, he had these tendencies. We've never seen that in any fucking iteration of Superman in the movies. Christopher Reeve's Superman didn't save anybody when he was Clark Kent, and he wasn't Superman. Think about what I'm saying. We've never seen it on the big screen. We've never seen it with Superman Returns because he was a big grown man. So Zack Snyder establishes this guy. We are introduced to this guy saving oil rig workers on a burnout oil rig pipeline that's about to explode. But before we do that, we see a human being save him, preserve his life, care for his life. And in other words, it's a precursor. It's saying because human beings, it sowed love into Superman, he was able to sow back love for humanity. That's what it says in a bigger way. For some reason, this brain dead guy can't understand that. So what's awesome is seeing Clark using his powers to save people from his very introduction. He's not even Superman, but that's just his nature. But we also see how bullies treated him versus how his parents and friends treated him, showing the cruelty and love of humanity towards him. So the cool thing about Superman, the movie, not Superman the movie, sorry, Superman Man of Steel is you're not just placed in a world where everybody loves you from the get-go, like everything's all hunky-dory, or there's a joke, the bullies or whatever, having bullying him or whatever. No, we see a world where Superman is treated harshly at times by his contemporaries, and even guys who become his friends later on, or guys who learn to respect him later on. He's got rifts with them. And Zack Snyder so subtly shows, I should really credit David Goyer for this, he shows that people don't have to stay the same. They can be affected by you. For example, remember, people hate what they don't understand. So first we have Pete Ross, who is bullying Superman before the bus crashes into the river. And Superman saves Pete. Pete looks at Superman differently from there on in. And then we see again Pete Ross helping Superman. So he goes from bullying Superman to becoming a friend of Superman. We see the older student push Superman, pull him out, slam him against the thing because he's afraid of him. And you say, like, show us what you got, Kent. Show us. Because they find out that Kent saves the people in the bus, right? So the bully's bullying him. And then later on, that bully becomes Clark Kent's priest. That same bully that was bullying him, that was afraid of him, he becomes a priest. And when Clark says, I'm the guy they're looking for, to the priest gulps and swallows, but then he continues to talk. They're afraid of Clark. In a real world scenario, in the real world, someone with those kinds of abilities and strengths as Superman would scare people. It would scare people. That's why we don't want to know about aliens. And we got all these scary alien stories of aliens abducting people and tampering with them and then bringing them back to Earth. We are afraid of what we don't understand. This is common sense. And so Man of Steel deals with a Superman dealing with real people in real situations. And how he overcomes that and still wants to represent all these people, good and bad and ugly. People who treat him well and people who don't treat him well. You know what the president of Mexico showed us? Even though they're trying to genocide the immigrant Mexicans in America, they're trying to kick them out of California, which, by the way, California, Texas, and all these southern states were part of Mexico once upon a time. So to build a wall really shows how tone deaf and a fucking ass you really are, Americans. And I call Donald Trump the biggest asshole I've ever seen. What are you building a wall for? Fucking asshole. You stole most of America from the Native Americans. Then the Spanish overthrew some of the Native Americans and had all these places, part of Mexico. Los Angeles. That's why it's called Los Angeles, motherfuckers. It's a Spanish name. El Paso, Texas. Fucking Spanish name. It's part of Mexico. America paid for it and got the land. But it was part of Mexico. Some of the people never left the land. They were on the land. I mean, the audacity, man. Anyway, so you see how they treat the immigrants. The president of Mexico didn't treat back America as they deserve when God came through with the flood. An act of God, as they say. It's an act of God, Jonathan. She said that to Jonathan. The Fordham kid, they saw what Clark did. Oh, yeah. So my point being this. We see the challenges he faces having to deal with people's fear of his abilities. And we also see his restraint. Instead of clubbering that boy and killing him, he had restraint. And then, Pete Ross saw that he bend the iron like if it was nothing. And watches him as he tries to help him up. Pete becomes on the side of Clark. And Clark wins over people. Not through fighting back at them, but through showing a higher, better way. That's fucking Superman. And he wasn't even Superman at the time. He was just a kid. he had to deal with people's fears of his abilities, and he had to also deal with his restraint. In becoming a champion for humanity as any leader, he had to deal with intense hate because he was so powerful, but use restraint instead of trying to get back at people. Man of Steel dives deep into Superman, showing him to face some of the same challenges we face daily with people around us. For you to minimize it down to snapping Zod's neck is so disingenuous, it's ridiculous. It shows your short-sightedness of Superman and what he truly means to us. As for BVS, we see a realistic response from the public to Superman once he reveals himself to the world. Some people are predictably afraid, others hateful because of bad things that happened to them in the Black Zero event. Others love him. When you become a public figure, you're subjected to all sorts of reactions by the public. Some will like you, some will hate you. Powerful people can try to influence the public to turn against you if they feel threatened in any way by you, which is what Lex Luthor began doing. This is what the U.S. is trying to do to China. For you to again narrow down such a story to Superman fighting Batman is once again myopic thinking, and I would expect from a toddler, not a grown man. Zack Snyder's Justice League showed Superman having a very important role in society that could not be filled after his death. On his return, without speaking, he leads the Justice League to defeating a world-ending threat in Steppenwolf. His presence decisively turns the tide against Steppenwolf. Not only did we see him lead mankind, but now he led through his actions and strength a league of superheroes. He fulfilled Jor-El's prophecy about him, guiding and leading mankind into the sun. So, I mean, that trilogy is so fucking awesome. And the fact that we can't get that trilogy on because of some fucking stupid studio, with their short-sightedness to want to become like Marvel is so fucking disgusting. And to have to put up with this fucking trash that we're going to get. Oh, fuck no, I'm not watching that trash. So that's the level of conversation we end up. I humored the guy because, Mr. Wesley, Miss Wes Ashley, shout out to Wes Ashley. He laughs. Bro, believing RT scores and believing in Santa Claus is pretty much the same thing. After a certain age, you look kind of stupid, especially when you get a high critical rating. Okay, fine. The movie flops. What good was the critical rating? What good was the critical rating? Nobody give a fuck about the critics. Critics are like what? 1% of the population? Not even 1%. Not even 1%. So who gives a fuck about the critics? We care about the audience score. And if the audience score, like Zack Snyder Justice is 93%, Man of Steel is 75%, I believe Batman v Superman is 63%, they're all fresh. Meaning the audience never hated the movie. The critics might have hated it, but not the audience. There's always this dichotomy between the audience and the critics, generally speaking. And the point I'm making is this. You don't make movies for critics. You make movies for the audience. It's what they say that counts, not the fucking critics. Yep, close to 500. You know what people say Restore the SnyderVerse is a trending topic nonstop on X. It's just nonstop trending. There's a reason. And that's been going on for now 4 years straight since 2021. It's not going away anytime soon. It won't go away anytime soon. Severine Cox says, my last word on Superman 2025 is that Marvel was smart not to move the release dates for Fantastic Four first steps. The latter's going to do just fine at the box office. Glenn Greenwald. Sam Harris explained this week, as a Jewish person, he always had an Israeli exception to his atheism and opposition to organizing based on religious sectarian identity, even if he was conflicted about it. But he says he now fully subordinates his other views to Zionism. So this fucker is an atheist, and he still is holding on to Zionism, which is a murderous colonial project. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to catch you guys later. As to U.S. and Israel seeking to attack Iran, still seeking to attack China, still coming at Russia, the global South countries being threatened not to join BRICS. Well, BRICS has already moved away from the U.S. dollar, so you can forget about that. In the recent conference in Brazil, they have taken several measures to move away from the U.S. dollar. I would suggest to any country trying to continue along the lines of BRICS that you specifically double down on your sovereignty. The U.S. can't fight everyone. You have 140 countries in the United Nations. If all 140 countries decide they're going the BRICS route, the U.S. is cooked. They're trying to use bullyism, just again, another fucking bully. And you have to stand your ground. At the same time, do not respond in the low level that they're responding with. Take the moral high ground and keep moving. So that's what I got for you guys. I am Christ I Am Disciple. We spent an hour and 11 minutes here. I love you guys. You guys have a great day. God bless you all. Again, this is brought by L.I.V.E products. L.I.V.E. Live now. We're alive now. Bless you.